Hello, everyone. Welcome to a great episode on Doctor Who Day, we're going to be celebrating. I'd say 59 years now of Doctor Who. Where today is going to be be a really mixture of an episode because we're not just going to be speaking about Doctor Who. We're going to be speaking about autism, how that linked in, and I'm going to speak with Olivia, who has some really good art, and like especially with Doctor Who and lots of other different things I imagine as well. But yeah, it's gonna be great to speak to Olivia. And yeah, because me and Olivia have kind of been speaking a lot after the last couple of days, haven't we, Olivia?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
it's been great.
yeah, it's been really fun. So I guess to start with, Olivia, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Mhm. Hello, my name is Olivia Jackson, but you guys online might know me better if you've seen my art as Olivia Shorthair. And I am a 23-year-old graduate student and freelance artist based in the West Coast of the United States. And I draw a lot of things, but ever since my boyfriend introduced me to Doctor Who, I fell really deeply in love with it. And it's provided a lot of artistic inspiration for me. So lately I've been creating quite a bit of Doctor Who fan art, and I've fallen in love with the Doctor as a character too, because I feel like he has a lot of neurodivergent traits and he's just really relatable, or she, if you're talking about 13. But yeah, nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool just to sort of speak about that because yeah. So I guess to start with, when did you like you said so you was it this year that you started watching it, Doctor Who?
It was sometime last year, actually. My boyfriend and we had this deal that if I watched Doctor Who, which was a show that he really loved, he would watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which was a show that I really loved at the time. And so we started watching Doctor Who, and it really grew on me so quickly. I just fell in love with it. The stories, the characters, everything. I love sci-fi. I love, seeing quirky characters that are a little bit different as the heroes. I love seeing all the travel through different universes, that kind of thing. But very quickly it grew on me as a special interest. And honestly, I don't think he knew what he was getting into when he introduced it to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very close to my heart now. It, it's a really amazing show, very affirming, and it makes me happy.
Yeah, it's a really good show, isn't it? Like you can just watch it all day, talk about it all the time.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'll never get tired of talking about it. And I like both classic Who and new Who. It was new Who that I saw first, but I later found out about classic Who, and now I've gotten hooked on that as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
it's already fun, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I know you said to me before that your favorite Doctor is the 11th Doctor.
Oh, yes, I love Matt Smith. He's so loving and caring. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He always tries to see the best in people. He has this optimistic, happy-go-lucky attitude, but he can also be very serious and angry if he needs to. But just his happiness and his never-ending curiosity, and just how caring and loving he is, and how much he cares deeply about his human companions and just any being that he comes into contact with, it makes me happy. He's just wholesome, he's kind. I
Yeah.
really enjoy watching him, and whenever I'm having a bad day, I can just watch one of his episodes and it'll make me smile, especially the Lodgers. That one will always make me laugh.
Yeah, that is a really funny episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I made some fan art of that one. I got to show it to our host here.
Yeah, yeah. I showed you I was there, didn't I?
Oh yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Well, I was outside there,
Uh-huh.
because Sarah Jane's house was around the corner from it, so I thought,
Mhm.
why not? Um, well, it was quite funny, I was there and the door was open, and
Oh,
I didn't go in because I don't want to be rude. But
yeah.
I did say to someone, um, and I don't think they answered because they probably know he's famous there for being Doctor Who there. So I don't think they answered
Mm,
me just so they didn't want anyone to come in. But it actually seems
mm.
like a lodger's place. Like
Oh, wow.
lodgers go in there by the looks of things, or
Mhm,
like it's a place where like people stay.
mhm.
So yeah, it's really interesting because like not just Doctor Who, lots of different films where people
Mhm,
ask like you put your name down on a certain thing,
mhm.
where 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 films or series can actually film in your house.
Ah, yes, yes. I heard that David Tennant and Catherine Tate that they were filming inside someone's house too, and they momentarily stopped to sign some things and greet some fans that were in that area. And I think that's really sweet of them. Made me happy to hear.
Yeah, yeah, they are. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
to see them.
So hard though to wait almost a year for the new episodes to come out, though. I get really impatient when it comes to that stuff. Just like, what am I gonna do in the meantime?
Yeah, it's really hard because like you've got a year now to wait.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
like it's November now, and then November next year, all those new episodes are gonna come.
At least I'll be able to make quite a bit of fan art in the meantime. I mean, I did just finish drawing 14 in 13's clothes, so there's that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like although we haven't seen Shooty yet, but I'm loving what he's been doing already. Like
Oh,
um
absolutely. Me too.
yeah, like he's been doing lots of different things. Like
Mhm.
he met the 12th Doctor even. Then
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Just that picture of Shuti Gatwa and Peter Capaldi together at the Scottish BAFTA Awards, where Shuti is like just like grinning. He looks like he's laughing out loud. It just made my heart so happy seeing them together, being buddies. It's like, hello, doctor, meet doctor. I have a feeling too that Peter Capaldi had some wisdom about the role to pass on to Shuti.
yeah, they yeah, he has. It's good because I think Shooty, unlike most incarnations of the Doctor, the
Yeah.
Shooty has probably spoken to David.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you a little story about David with
Oh, go
Matt,
ahead.
with Matt in a minute. David, he probably has the chance to speak to David. Um,
Mhm.
he probably had the chance to speak to Jodie as well. I imagine. Um, as
Sylvester
well.
McCoy also recorded a video message welcoming him to the
Yeah,
Hooniverse, and
yeah.
that was also really sweet.
Yeah, you've got Sylvester McCoy, and you would also have Peter Capaldi. So it had a couple Doctor Who incarnations. Unlike maybe if it was just going to be him and no
Yeah,
David Tennant after
yeah,
Jodie. So he's got quite
yeah,
a lot of support there. But the story
yeah.
is when Matt Smith was going to become Doctor, um,
Mm-hmm.
David Tennant sent him a letter.
Mm-hmm.
He sent him a letter to what to expect when being the Doctor. He did,
Mm-hmm.
and he did that. And not too long ago, I saw the video of that where Matt Smith was explaining what was happening. Like it made him more comfortable, and then
Mm-hmm.
and of course it was really good after the role. Like my Doctor is David Tennant,
Mm-hmm.
as the 10th Doctor at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yes.
I'll see if I like 14, but I'm sure I will. But I was very sad when he left David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. It was
Oh,
very
I
sad.
oh, I feel that. Like as much as I love Eleven and Matt Smith, I still cried a little bit when David Tennant started regenerating. That was like a really dramatic and heartbreaking exit too. I mean, I'd be surprised if there were people who didn't cry when that happened.
Yeah, yeah, and then you've got like I did like Matt Smith straight away in the 11th hour. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, like which I did go to the actual location of the 11th hour this year, so I was happy
Oh,
about that.
nice.
Um, it was
Very
pretty cool.
nice.
It was pretty cool because you know the phone box, you know, the red phone box in that episode, and the lake,
Yeah, I know.
and the little
Yeah.
pond.
Hmm.
They are not really there.
Oh, wow.
They will just put in for the episode.
That makes sense. I mean, people can go to pretty big lengths to make the scene just right. If I remember correctly, for one movie I watched as a kid, they had to build an entire roller rink from scratch because there weren't any near the filming locations. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's cool that they put those things in there. Weird though. It'll be weird though to see the place without them.
Yeah, yeah, it does, like, really. But
Yeah.
with what I would like to see when David Tennant officially does regenerate into Shooty is I want him to
Mhm.
say, "I'm ready to go this time," so it kind of feels it like
Yes.
a bit more happier this time, and it makes sense
Yes.
because we probably won't see him for a while after he's in it this
Mhm.
time.
Yeah, it would kind of like close a chapter, so to speak. I think that's the best way I can put it. But yeah, it'll be a lot. I'm hoping it'll be a lot more lighthearted, just like you, because his first exit was really sad and dramatic. But hopefully this time he'll feel more comfortable making the change into his next incarnation. I'm also quite happy that Shuti Gatwa is going to be the first Black person to play the Doctor. I think that that's pretty. Oh yeah, and the first gay man as well, isn't he?
Yeah, to play the Doctor. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
pretty. That's pretty amazing. I love the progress the show has made over the years. I mean, Doctor Who has kind of always been progressive. Like if you watch stuff like Classic Who, I'm remembering the episode The Green Death in particular, which had environmentalist messages in it. And then you have, of course, the companions, the women who are like really strong and they help the doctor on his adventures. They're not just the characteristic like weak or damsels in distress. But even though it's always been progressive, I still love seeing it make even more progress. I still love seeing it being even more inclusive every single time.
yeah. I agree, and like it's good that they're doing this kind of stuff. Like,
Mhm.
I love the look of the new companion as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it just gives me lots of like Ten and Rose kind of vibes with like the pictures at the
Oh, I
moment.
get that vibe too.
Yeah, yeah, and I know with Russell, I know that they cannot fall in love really, these two because
Yeah.
he does like to take in mind like they're actually like because like Suit is a gay man and
Mhm.
it'd be a bit weird for him if
Yeah.
like this new Ruby Sunday character falls in love, um which I think that would probably make him a little bit uncomfortable if that did happen. Um,
Yeah, it would be. I think for the viewers too, because as much as, I love how the doctor is so close to his companions, especially, the fact that his companions are mostly women, it's still weirdly uncomfortable to see the doctor as a character fall in love with a human, at least in my opinion, because that's not what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be action and adventure, saving creatures across the galaxy,
yeah.
that kind of stuff, not a soap opera.
Definitely, definitely. But although I did think that with Rose and Ten, I wouldn't have minded with them in ways because
Yeah.
obviously they weren't going to be together forever. Like
Yeah.
they could have I wouldn't have minded so much because they had a really good connection. But if someone doesn't have a good
Yeah, there's
connection,
that.
if they
Mhm,
don't have a good connection, like in my
mhm.
opinion, like Jodie and Yaz, they
Yeah.
weren't in the terms of Ten and Rose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
In connection wise because it like with watching it they were pretty fast like
Mm,
one minute they're not like they're just friends and then like
mhm.
episode 2 later they are they really like each other but the doctor knows that that can't happen.
Yeah, yeah. Just because, the whole Time Lord thing makes it difficult. And
Yeah,
also just his life is really chaotic. It would probably be way too hard to have a long-term relationship, especially with a human who only lives a fraction of the time that he can.
yeah, and I think that's what another companion could do or bring another person
Mhm,
into the show like who knows
mhm.
like she the new companion
Yeah.
might be in a relationship with Yasmin Finney's character Rose. That Rose potentially. That
Oh,
that
I love that.
that could be a thing because who knows? Because like I think what I would think would happen, which would be good to happen, is because as far as I know, and that we think that Donna's that is that would be Donna's daughter,
Mhm,
named after Rose Tyler, but it's just gonna be
mhm.
called Rose. And it'll be,
Yeah.
I think, from the 60th that she's going to be in the 60th, she'll go on
Mhm.
to Shooty's era, a bit like Captain Jack kind of thing, or River Song, time in there and time out. But
Yeah, yeah.
it would be interesting if they did have a relationship together.
It would also be interesting if the Doctor decided to travel again with more than one companion. Like, I feel like he just mostly travels with one person. That's something I've observed in New Who. But in Classic Who, there were periods of time where he'd travel with as many as 3 companions at once, usually from many different places. And
Yeah.
there were some that were from different planets, like the 4th Doctor and 5th Doctor's companion, Nyssa. She was from a planet called Traken. And there was the 2nd Doctor's companion, Jamie. He was a Scotsman from like the 1700s that they picked up on a trip during an episode series that is unfortunately now lost. But it would just be cool to see multiple companions again, as well as companions from several different places and time periods.
Yeah, I do like that, but although I do like seeing just one, I would like one companion for a while now, because I don't we've seen just the one companion on their own for ages.
That makes sense.
Like, and it might be an autism thing as well, because I don't like crowds, like as it is, but so sometimes, like especially with Jodie, like there I wasn't like that keen on how many people were in the TARDIS. Like with like you had Ryan, you had Graham, you had Yaz. It was a bit, it was a lot, and I do think it like I prefer the one companion, but if you have, I think 2 is enough. 2
Yeah,
companions.
yeah.
I think 3 is a bit much in a
Yeah, that
TARDIS.
makes sense. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And it does, now that I think about it, it was a little crowded with Tegan and Nyssa and Adric in the TARDIS all at once. It was a little crowded, a little chaotic, and they all played amazing roles, but I can totally understand where you're coming from when you say that 1 or maybe 2 is the best, because that's not only like when the dynamic is the best, but also it just doesn't seem as chaotic or crowded or uncomfortable in that respect.
Yeah.
I personally can tolerate crowds depending upon the situation, but I don't think I'm a big fan of them necessarily either. So in that respect, I can also empathize with you a bit, and that if something's like really crowded like that or tight, it just feels kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, I guess it kind of depends on the situation, as you say.
Yes.
Like if it's a TARDIS, it depends the size of the TARDIS. I think they change, don't they?
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
if it's maybe Matt Smith has a pretty big TARDIS.
Yes.
Like it'd be alright. Like you could go in a swimming pool, have a nice time.
Oh yeah, I love a swimming pool. As long as it's not in the library, I don't want to get the books all wet.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they actually showed the swimming pool.
Yeah, I wish they showed it. I wish that like during an episode like Journey to the Center of the TARDIS or something like that, that they, well, as they were running around throughout the ship, that they would just accidentally stumble upon the library, and in the middle of like the floor of the library is this Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Do you think music is really important with Doctor Who?
Yeah, I definitely notice that the soundtrack adds a lot to it, especially during the more exciting or tense scenes. I particularly remember the music that was playing during David Tennant's regeneration into Matt Smith. That just, if the music wasn't there, it wouldn't be half as like tense and dramatic, but it was there and it really added a lot of emotion. And it was, I admit, another part of it that kind of made me cry.
Yeah, I have to listen to it. I listen to all the music, but especially not from Murray Gold. But of course, it changed when Jodie was, which I didn't mind the music composer. It's just that his music was very not loud for me enough to hear it. Like the only one I recognise is Jodie's theme. I don't. Maybe Captain Jack had a little tune there when he was in it, but other than that, I don't recognise much. Which from like you normally each companion would get their own kind of music, like when they're on, and you didn't really get that. You just had an overall music soundtrack in the background covering
Yeah.
multiple scenes.
Yes.
And either but potentially today we potentially might even get that announcement, because I imagine there will be an announcement today, or by the time this is out there might already been an announcement. But I imagine there will be, because it's Doctor Who Day. If not, who knows? It might maybe not because we've had loads quite
Yeah.
recently, but
Yeah.
I either would like Marigold back, or
Mhm.
which it might be quite likely because a lot of the former people are coming back, like, aren't they? You got
Yeah.
David Donner and that. I think he might go with somebody he's used to. He will know. Russell will go with someone he knows, or we get a completely
Yes.
new person that he thinks is really good. Which I'm open for a new composer, but I would also love Marigold's back.
Yeah, I feel like either way, it'll turn out pretty well, so long as they know how to capture the emotion of the particular scene in which they're composing for. But yeah, also when you bring up Donna, I just wonder, like, how does she work her way back into life with the doctor? Like, how does she get her memories back somehow? It makes me really curious because her run had a really sad ending with having to wipe her mind, and if she remembered, she'd die. So I wonder, how is she going to get her memories back? And if so, how does she end up running across the doctor again?
Yeah, I've got. I think I have a little theory of what might happen. Um,
Oh, what is that?
like I think like it's all the works of the toy maker. Um,
Ah,
I think
okay.
but
Yes.
that's not what brings David Tennant's 14th Doctor to Earth. Um,
Hmm.
I think Wilfred is looking for the
Hmm.
Doctor for all this time, all
Hmm.
these years. He because we know he was filming there. I'm not sure if he filmed it
Hmm.
all, but I think they filmed a lot with him. So I
Hmm.
think I would love a scene if he looks up his telescope.
Oh, yeah.
I would love that, but I think it's going to be centered around that and
Hmm.
potentially Sylvia, because I think it might be either this will happen, that Donna
Hmm.
will start remembering, and
Hmm.
then they try and find a doctor, but knowing it's not the 10th Doctor, which they probably think it does, Wilfred and Sylvia will probably think it is, but it's not, it's the
Hmm.
14th Doctor, and then the um
Hmm.
the toy maker gets involved somehow, and then
Hmm.
for some sort of time period maybe,
Hmm.
Donna is there, like if
Hmm.
he can remember the Doctor again, or who knows, it might even be a different Donna. It might be some Donna we don't know. Don't
Parallel
know.
universe, Donna.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting to see what's going to
And when
happen.
you and when you speak of the Celestial Toy Maker too, that is almost certainly based off of an old Who serial by the same name, specifically from the first Doctor's run. Although unfortunately, if I remember correctly, almost all the episodes except for one were junked by the BBC. So there are many episodes of that particular story where the audio survives, but we still don't have the video. I'm hoping though that they could either make an animated reconstruction of it, because I feel like it would be a good story to watch, and also just so you could understand the villain from the new Who character that's coming up soon. And also part of me just hopes, like, what if somebody like goes to their basement, they discover a can with like film in it or something like that, and it happens to be an episode of the Celestial Toy Maker. I hope that they're able to return it if so. Always hoping that missing episodes would be found. It's a real shame that the BBC decided to throw away so many stories from such a beloved show.
I've seen a few clips from the toy maker from the within the first Doctor episodes,
Mhm.
which I he's just a very trickster. He's basically just a trickster, isn't he? Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Neil Patrick Harris definitely gives off that exact vibe. So no wonder they chose him.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm really interested, and I think like there's so much that we're not gonna know yet because there's gonna be surprises, and it always is when Russell does his episodes.
Oh
Um,
yeah, he's a great writer.
yeah, and yeah, I just can't wait to see it next year.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, Russell T Davies is a great writer, and I am really happy to have him back on the show as the showrunner. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing what new episodes he writes, and I know that him and David Tennant are pretty good friends too, so I'm sure that their partnership together is going to work some magic. I mean, I know it already did when 13 regenerated into 14, because if I remember correctly, they worked together on the lines, and it was David who improvised in, "I know these teeth."
yeah, I think yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Um,
I oh sorry.
yeah, like and I think I think Russell said about the Watts, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I am concerned a bit though with what Russell said about the outfit. Like that's the only thing that I'm not really happy about, just because I know that he didn't want to give bigots ammo. So I respect that. You know, you don't want people to be hateful online of it. But at the same time, it's implying that clothes have gender when they don't. You know, anybody can dress up as the doctor regardless of gender. And I think as Jodie even once said herself, you're not dressing up as a boy or a girl, you're dressing up as the doctor.
Mm.
So their clothes are for anybody.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It, yeah, I, yeah. It's very interesting. That
Hmm.
is, yeah. Like, because
Hmm.
of course you saw the master change into Jodie's clothes
Yeah,
in the Power of the
exactly.
Doctor. Um,
Yeah.
maybe, yeah. Which I understand type part of it, because it could
Hmm.
potentially be down to maybe like sizes, if it fits or not, that particular
Hmm.
outfit, because I imagine they only have the one. I don't know, that they might have more, but who knows,
I mean,
it might not fit into the storyline as such with the
mm,
clothes, or potentially.
mm. I can sort of see where you're coming from when it comes to having them in a size that wouldn't fit David. After all, it's I mean that really long trench coat especially, it must have taken a little while to make. So part of me wonders if they didn't really have enough time to remake an outfit in a size for a tall 6'1" Scotsman like David
Yeah.
Tennant.
Yeah, like, although like you say, it would be nice to see him in it.
Yes, yes, yes.
But like, they are very small on Jodie as it is, and of
Yeah.
course David is taller, he's bigger,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I understand where Russell's coming from, but Russell is like, he is very like diverse with all the work he's done, isn't he? So
Yeah, there's that upside to what is going to happen.
yeah, because he's done It's a Sin. He's very like diverse with like you got the transgender like community
Yes.
coming into things. You've got
Yes.
like Shooty being gay, and
Yes.
he likes doing that. He done it with Captain Jack.
Hmm.
He brought him in. I think he was the first um gay
Yes.
companion, and New Who wise anyway. But yeah,
Mhm.
I understand. I think all of us, we were a bit shocked about the clothes change, but I think that has happened once before. So
Mhm.
it might not be the sense of that they couldn't do that. That could be the work of the toy maker, reasons why
Yes.
that wasn't changed into Jodie's clothes.
Yeah, they definitely have this theory that the celestial toy maker somehow messes with the doctor's regeneration during the specials, and that's why he regenerates into his 14th self. Well, his 10th self at first, but then after that he becomes the 15th and Shutigawa. And there's just that one clip from the preview for what's going to come next year, and it shows Shuti going, "What the hell is going on here?" And maybe it's just a fan theory, but I do have this feeling that he's so confused because there's something weird going on with his regeneration, or maybe he's like flashing from one to the other because of something that the toy maker is doing.
Yeah, I think I actually thought that when I saw him, because he's wearing the same clothes,
Mm,
wasn't he? Like, maybe
yes,
he's not
yes.
focusing on his regeneration, and the toy
Hmm.
maker can just snap his fingers,
Yep.
and then he goes into shooting, or he's done this thing where he separates them, where
Yeah, yeah.
which I'd prefer to see, but really I prefer them to
Hmm.
be separated, and he says
Hmm.
you have to do something together to be joined back, or
That
something.
would be very interesting to watch. I mean, we have seen several incarnations of the Doctor work together before, so I think that would be rather fun.
Yeah,
I I just I go back to the 50th anniversary special and Chinny, Sand Shoes, and Granddad. That was a lot of fun.
yeah, I think we are going to get more other maybe past people coming back as well, not just
Yeah,
David and Catherine. I'm not sure
yeah.
about Matt. I think if Matt would like to come back with the Ponds, but I don't know if that would fit. It wouldn't really fit this
Hmm.
storyline with Donna.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but although I would like to see him, Matt again.
Yeah, yeah.
I think if they don't, you could even put Matt in somewhere in the next anniversary special if he's not involved in any of these, because David's going to look much more older in 10 years' time to now than Matt is, because Matt doesn't look really much different than he was when he was the Doctor.
No, I swear the guy doesn't age. But
Yeah.
on that note as well, if I remember correctly, I heard that at the London Comic Con, that Matt Smith said he would not, in fact, be part of the 60th anniversary special. But part of me feels a bit suspicious about that because David Tennant kept on vehemently denying being the next Doctor, and surprise, he's the next Doctor. So let's just watch and see what happens.
Yeah, like that's what you got to do, because I remember when Catherine Tate got asked, she says she kind of gave it away a little bit, because she said if you've got the money, I got the time, and she also said and then she got asked, there's been rumors that you're going to be in the 60th anniversary, and she says she didn't deny it, all she said is, what can I tell you? So, and then there we are. But but Matt Smith has claimed that he would like to be in the not in the 60th. He would like to come back to do Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And Peter Capaldi's kind of said he's time. He likes it when you leave, that you don't need to return, which I understand.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I can see where he's coming from there. Although it would be fun to see him again, especially not only because him as the 12th Doctor, because he was absolutely amazing, but also just knowing how passionate that he's been for Doctor Who ever since he was just a little boy.
Yeah, I don't see Jodie coming back for the 60th.
No, me neither.
It's far too soon for her doing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, it is too soon at the moment.
Yeah, like I can see her coming back in the future because she's open to it. She said. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to see what happens.
You're making me think now of this video I saw not that long ago. It showed Peter Capaldi at a Comic-Con or something similar, and he was answering questions from fans. And then he takes a sip of water and accidentally chokes on it, and then he goes, "Oh, I almost regenerated there."
Oh yeah, I saw that. I remember that. Yeah.
You really would have gotten your money's worth. Hey, I'm Jodie.
Yeah, that's it. Like I've never been to a Comic-Con, but I aim to go to.
Yeah, me too.
To see David. I want to see David, because I'm not that fussed. I say it. I don't mean to be mean when I say I'm not that fussed about seeing anyone else. But if I saw him, it would be a plus to see. If I saw anyone else after him, like Matt might be there, or another Doctor actor, it would just probably make my day just seeing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Like you say, I show him pictures. I don't even have enough time, but if I did, I could just say I do a lot of videos of when, like, as a 10th Doctor and stuff. So
yeah, I think that they'd be impressed by your acting skills. I mean, everything down to the facial expressions that you do in your videos is absolutely amazing. Have you taken like classes on acting, or are you completely self-taught?
Well, I've done when I was in school, I did do drama, and I was in, because I was the last year for drama, like how the exam was when I was in school. So what happened is it changed from where you have to write more than you act, so more English than writing. And there was only about 6 of us out the whole, probably a lot of people in the year, and I was picked as a mighty role character. So I was about 3 or 4 characters, and yeah, I've had experience, and ever since 2020ish, I've started doing Doctor Who videos, and I try to get on point. So like when I go to these different locations, I act the scene out, and yeah. So like hopefully next year I'm all good to do some more. Like the 2 on the top of my list this time will be the place. Do you remember New Earth, where Rose and the Doctor are running?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, I want to go to that, where that was. Like it was like a little hill. It's like a little cliff hill. That's one of them I really want to go to. And Amy's Choice episode with Matt Smith?
Yes, of course I do. Honestly, who could forget that dream? It was a weird one. But go on, sorry.
Yeah, the dream world. I want to go visit that. It's a little place in Wales over here, so I'm gonna go to them. Those are my two top picks. But my favourite one I went to this year was the Girl in the Fireplace. When I sent you that picture, and I was me
Yes.
getting that exact kind of place where Dave Tennant was in the Girl in the Fireplace episode.
You're making me wish that I lived in the UK, because honestly, I'm a bit jealous. I wish that I could just casually pay a visit to the various filming locations. That would be a lot of fun. And also just the fact that at the recent London Comic Con, you had Jodie Whittaker and Matt Smith and David Tennant all in the same place. Just would have run up to them and like group hug from my favorite doctors.
Yeah, yeah. I would like. I would probably would hug Dave Tennant if I saw him. But it is. It is like it's not like it's in most of these locations are in one specific place, so I can't
Yes.
really. It's quite a long way from where I live, so I would only do it. Well,
Okay.
when I was there, I did it about try and get as many locations as I can,
Hmm.
and I didn't get them all. But also another next place I want to go to
Hmm.
next year is all
Hmm.
before I'm gonna go before November because
Hmm.
it's gonna be really ironic because I'm gonna go to the cafe in the end of time when
Hmm.
Wilfred and the Doctor were talking, and the
Hmm.
10th Doctor was crying from
Oh,
like
yeah.
you remember that scene in the end of time.
I
Um,
do remember
yeah,
that.
yeah, I want to go to that cafe. Have a picture there.
Yes.
Maybe do some of those same videos that took place there. Um,
Yeah.
that that's another one on top of my list, and um,
Yeah.
I might email maybe a house or two, maybe the house where like Wilfred was played in like the noble house. I might go to there. Maybe even the
Mhm.
church that Donna got married. So there's all these different things
Mhm.
that you can do. Even little Amy
Ooh,
Pond's
excuse
house.
me.
You got
Oh, yeah.
little Amy Pond's house potentially.
Hopefully, there's not another multiform hiding in that house.
Maybe not. Hopefully not. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
That was a weird episode, but it was a pretty great introduction to 11.
yeah, that was a good
Oh,
episode.
it's another one that makes me laugh a lot too, mostly because of fish fingers and custard. And
Yeah,
apparently, it wasn't actually fish fingers and custard that he ate. It said it was sponge sticks and cheese sauce.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, cheese sauce gives me texture issues. I have like hypersensitivity to certain food textures and stuff that looks kind of gooey, like cheese sauce. Just looking at it makes me kind of bleh. So I don't know how he ate that, but I mean, if he liked it better than actual fish fingers and custard, at least that's a win. Anyways, fish fingers and custard sounds pretty gross.
Yeah,
I mean, he was just regenerating, but still, those two
yeah,
things do not go together.
yeah. Uh, would you ever try them, fish fingers and custard?
If somebody dared me to, maybe. if they're like, hey, I'll give you $10 if you eat fish fingers dipped in custard, I'd be like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem as bad as cheese dip. Um,
Yeah, that stuff is.
yeah, yeah. I don't mind cheese like baby melon, like, but I wouldn't have that. I like coconut though. Um, like
Yeah.
I do like coconut. I think nearly enough every day I'll have a coconut yogurt.
Ah.
I think a coconut and lemon. It might be
Yeah.
lemon, but yeah, it's like you say, it's like you have to you can't eat like it depends on textures with food sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. I have trouble with things that feel like kind of gooey, especially if they're cold.
Do you not like jelly
So,
then?
jelly like gelatin, because in America we use jelly to mean jam as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah. So like
gelatin then.
I'm not a big fan of it. I used to like it as a kid, but now it just feels very weird to me, just really cold and kind of slimy. So I don't really eat it unless I'm really sick and there's nothing else I can eat.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I wish I liked it more though. I mean, people use it in a lot of really cool desserts and it's really colorful. So I wish that I didn't have a problem with it, because then I'd be able to enjoy all those.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
that's understandable.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like when was you diagnosed with autism, Olivia?
When I was 5 years old, which is definitely a big privilege to have, especially for me as a woman.
Yeah,
My parents just noticed little things about me when I was younger, like my tendency to take things literally, and how I didn't quite understand how to interact with other kids my age. I would rather sit away from the other kids in the classroom, laying on my side and holding my little blanket, which was my comfort object, instead of sitting crisscross applesauce as they made us sit and listening to the teacher read. And I always felt like I was different. I always knew I was different somehow. And then I learned when I was about 10 years old or so that about my particular form of autism. And I'm like, everything makes sense. So I am different. I know why I'm different now. Everything makes sense. What
yeah.
about you?
I was diagnosed in a past life. No, I'm joking.
You've regenerated since
Yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I do have the feeling I probably have had a past life sometimes. It's,
Uh-huh.
but I was diagnosed when I was 9. I was so
Ah.
but when I was younger, um, I think like in the early 2000s, a lot of
Mhm.
people in their teenage, well, not teenage years, about maybe between ages 5 maybe to 9 and stuff like that, you get
Mhm.
diagnosed in that kind of age length. But now,
Mhm.
like, you see people get diagnosed maybe older, as maybe a teenager,
Yes.
or maybe older and adult, which is
Yes.
it's more common. And like you say, it's very like with girls, it's more harder to get a diagnosis.
Oh yeah, because the DSM-5 is specifically biased towards cisgender white boys. So it's really hard for women or people of color or people of other like gender diverse people. It's harder for them to get a diagnosis because of the biases. In fact, not that long before I got diagnosed, when my mom actually suggested, hey, maybe my daughter could be autistic to this one psychologist, the psychologist actually laughed and said, "Oh no, she's not autistic. You know when an autistic person's in the room." And it was because she diagnosed a friend of mine whose higher support needs last week. So because I didn't have his level of support needs and I was a girl, she was like, "Ugh, she can't possibly be autistic."
No. Yeah, it's annoying when you get that. Like people say you don't look like you're autistic.
I've gotten that so many times, honestly, that if I had a penny, I would probably be the richest woman in the world for every time I've been told that. And it's at a point now where it just makes me roll my eyes and kind of mentally be like, well, I guess I'm sorry I'm not Rain Man or Sheldon Cooper.
Mm. Yeah, that, that's it. Like, what are you supposed to look like to look autistic? It's like it's
Yeah.
silly, really.
Yeah, there's no such thing as an autistic look. Autistic people, we come in all races, genders, and all that stuff. We're just as unique from each other as neurotypical people are.
Hmm.
And I've noticed that a lot of canonically autistic characters, like the guy from The Good Doctor, and again, Rain Man, Sheldon Cooper, stuff like that, they don't represent autism accurately. But I feel like certain characters with like little quirks or neurodivergent traits, in particular the Doctor, really do represent autism pretty well, and that's one of the reasons why I've been so drawn to the show ever since I first learned about it.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. Like like there was like earlier this year I did a series like Doctor Who and Autism series
Mhm,
with people, not some people who weren't autistic too, so they can learn about it,
mhm,
learn
mhm,
about autism. And yeah, it was really cool. And like mentioning how the Doctor can be autistic, quite a lot
mhm.
of people mentioned Matt Smith's Doctor showing a lot of those traits of
Oh, absolutely.
like him and like a lot of different things he was doing. But,
Oh yeah, definitely.
and like you mentioned, the Good Doctor. Over lockdown, I found out about that show, and I liked it because like you say, it doesn't like it's not like 100% like with
Mm,
that you can see it, but
yeah.
it is I do like it, but it's better than quite a lot of shows maybe that show autism. Like you have some that are not very good. Maybe like there's this show on Netflix that I can't remember what it's called, but it has a boy that is autistic, and like the parents kind of
Mhm,
don't accept it and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, the Good Doctor's not. It's okay, but I do really enjoy the program. Um,
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. I don't like necessarily dislike it. I don't know. I find it hard to relate, maybe just
yeah,
because number one, the character is so different from me and it follows a lot of stereotypes people still have. And number two, it's played by a neurotypical actor and written by a neurotypical person. So it just doesn't feel
yeah,
authentic in that respect.
yeah.
But like the Doctor as a character has a lot of traits that I find relatable. I think of 12 in particular as being autistic because he's very blunt in the way he talks. Sometimes he doesn't know when it's appropriate to say certain things. He doesn't always get why humans act the way that they do. And if he thinks that something is silly, he'll just kind of ignore it because we have that habit. If a rule seems silly or pointless, we're not just going to mindlessly follow it.
Hmm.
And I've noticed that he's kind of the same way. Oh, and his love to learn too, just all the chalkboards of like the math equations and the big library and stuff in his TARDIS. He's always wanting to learn. And that's another thing that I see that I can personally relate to as an autistic viewer of the show.
Yeah, I would love. Uh, it'd be nice to have an autistic companion actually in the show, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. I would love that. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
yeah, like um, like you want to go to the same place over and over again.
Yep, yep. You got not just your comfort object or your comfort food, you also got your comfort place or your comfort planet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you say to the doctor, take me to your home planet. I want to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you take me to that same one again? Oh, come on. I'm not in the mood for an adventure today. I want to go back to that one beautiful place, please.
Yeah, it's great. Like
Yes.
it'd be nice for that, like to have that in there because
Mhm.
it's just something different. Like a lot of people who I found who are autistic do like
Mhm.
Doctor Who. Um,
Oh, yeah.
um,
Absolutely. And I can see
mm,
why.
yeah, like there's a huge community out there.
I'm honestly surprised that there aren't more that there haven't been autistic companions already, just considering how many autistic Whovians there are in general. I feel like we make up a pretty big part of the community just because of the ways in which we can relate to the show.
Definitely, definitely, and
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
is like there's so many people out
Oh,
there.
absolutely. Yeah, I can see that in the group chat, but just out there in general too. There are probably so many others,
Yeah.
so many
Mm.
people just that feel like they have a character that they can relate to and that gives them a positive form of representation.
Definitely, and it's really cool. Like
Oh yeah.
like it's like it's one of the reasons why I did want to do a Doctor Who series. Um,
Yeah.
and like for the anniversary next year, there will be something new coming to do a similar series, but not as many episodes.
Hmm.
But something for the 60th to celebrate Doctor Who and autism as well. Um,
Hmm.
which that's gonna be really good. But with Doctor Who, like each year, like even when it's not on you just talk about it all the time, can't
Oh yeah. We
you?
could probably go on till the end of time if y'all put us together in one room.
Definitely, like I think we could, couldn't we?
Another aspect of Doctor Who that I can really relate to as an autistic person is sometimes I feel a bit like an alien on my own planet, if you know what I mean, just being really different from other people. And, I'm a human being and I have my strengths and weaknesses like everybody else. But just because I'm wired in a different way, sometimes I feel like I don't quite belong with the other people around me. And for that same reason, actually, before I discovered Doctor Who, like probably 10 years or so before I discovered Doctor Who, I grew to love this show called Third Rock from the Sun, which was about a family of aliens who came to the United States and are living there pretending to be humans. And I could find it relatable for the same reasons, just socially well-meaning, but socially awkward, don't always understand why humans are the way they are. So
Definitely.
yeah, maybe I'm an alien on my own planet. Maybe I'm secretly a time lady. Who the hell knows?
Yeah. Who knows? We
Yeah.
there's so many. like I completely agree with that. Like you do feel like
Yeah,
sometimes like an alien,
yeah.
like unknown what to do because you're so different to everyone else, and find it maybe
Hmm.
people that understand you, like when you have friends that don't like something that you don't, like
Yeah.
like Doctor Who, for example. I have friends that don't watch it and stuff like that, and they like I normally say you've got to watch Doctor Who, and then they don't ever do it, but um but yeah, like you feel like I just feel like when find people that like it like me too,
Hmm.
it's good because I don't have
Hmm.
to. I could talk about like to you, for example. I could say something
Yeah,
about Doctor Who, and
yeah.
you'll know, where if I say it to someone else that it can also be autistic too, but you just don't like Doctor Who, um, which I find it hard to talk about. Like I'll say something happened in this episode, and then I won't have a clue. Like, but like,
Actually reminds me a bit, not that long ago. I'm friends with a woman who breeds and shows my favorite breeds of cats, which are Siamese and Orientals. And one of her Siamese girls was pregnant. Her the mama to be, her name was Risa. And one of the things I texted when I saw a picture of her all big because she was pregnant was, Risa, you've swallowed a planet.
oh,
And my friend did not get the reference,
oh
but there
yeah,
was still this weird satisfaction in doing it.
yeah, you swallowed that.
There was this other time too, like I guess Doctor Who out of context, where I was at the comic shop and I came across this girl who was there wearing an outfit that made her look a lot like Clara. And I tried to give her a compliment, but it just ended up coming out completely weird. It was something like, "You look like if Clara Oswald had blonde hair." I didn't even know if this woman knew Doctor Who or not. I literally just walked up to her and said this, and it was so awkward afterwards. I was just like, can I bury myself 10 feet in a pit and never come out?
Oh, oh, that's funny. Well, not funny, but
It's
yeah,
okay. It's okay.
yeah,
I laugh at it too.
yeah.
Y'all have every
Yeah.
reason to laugh at it, you know.
Yeah, it's yeah. I should say that more often. If I have someone who knows someone who's pregnant, I say he's on the planet. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's one that I'll honestly never stop laughing at, along with 11 rushing over to the stairs and brandishing an electric toothbrush at the door.
Yeah, that I think out of all the Doctors, I say Matt Smith is probably the most funniest.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
like he has his serious moments, but he's funny sometimes.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
like David Tennant is funny. Where
Yeah.
I think they're all funny in their own ways. They all have the serious moments.
One
Um,
of the biggest things I can see about David Tennant, and one of the biggest reasons why I can tell that he's a fan favorite, is he's just really well rounded. Like, he has the perfect balance of funny and serious. He has the perfect balance of being an alien who doesn't always understand everything, but also he has a strong understanding of many of the things that humans do. And he's very curious, and he works hard to see the good in people, but he also has his very difficult and angry and emotional moments, so he's very well rounded.
Definitely, it is.
Yes.
He is one of the best doctors, and the people will say he's overrated, but he's overrated for a reason because
Yeah.
lots of people like him.
Yeah, I mean being a well-rounded character is a good reason to have a lot of fans, if you ask me.
Yeah,
I personally, if I could rate the new Who Doctors, Matt Smith is my number one. I feel like David Tennant and Peter Capaldi are tied for number two. And Christopher Eccleston is at number three just because he was only on for one season and I feel like we didn't really get to know him. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, where does Jodie come in to your list there?
I actually haven't reached very many of her adventures yet. Like I'm
Oh,
towards the end of 12 at the moment. I've only seen like bits and pieces of 13 and Jodie.
okay.
But from what I have seen, I know that she's definitely going to grow on me too. And I feel like she has a lot of neurodivergent characteristics as well.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
how I would put the list out the new Who Doctors is David Tennant would be top for me.
Hmm.
Matt Smith would be next in second
Hmm.
place. And then I would put the Ninth Doctor, because the Ninth Doctor was the Doctor that got me into Doctor Who. So I kind of
Yeah.
have to put him up there,
Yeah.
with my third. And then I would, I put joint with Peter and Jodie,
Mhm.
like that. They are the two Doctors that didn't really influence me.
Mm.
Like Peter took a while, like to his last series, to kind of get me tuned in and everything. It took me a very long time to get used to him as well, unlike the other
Yeah.
past three Doctors. And Jodie, she's there in that position because, not for her, because it's just like the writing and her
Yeah.
episodes. Some episodes were okay, but it wasn't like 100%. And it's not like you were looking forward to maybe to the next episode. Like, I'm always looking forward to new Doctor Who episodes, but not as
Yeah.
exciting and like and stuff. But yeah, like I do like. I hope she comes back in the future, even for an episode with Russell. I think she'll
Yeah.
shine with his writing.
Yeah, it sounds like the biggest thing with the time that Jodie Whittaker was on the show is just the writing. Like, it's nothing that she did. It just seems like she wasn't written as well as she could have been.
Yeah, I think her last episode probably is her best episode, um,
Yeah.
because of certain things that happened in that episode. Um,
Yeah.
um, like people would say it's probably one of the most watched episodes because David Tennant's in it, but um,
Yes.
but it's funny because before the episode started, I said David Tennant. It's going to be David Tennant because
Yeah, it's him.
because I knew it wasn't going to be shooty, because they wouldn't put a new Doctor in for a 60th anniversary. Otherwise, they would have kept Jodie
Yeah.
along a bit longer
Yeah.
to do that, because
Mhm.
it wouldn't make sense, because you would want a series before you've done any kind of anniversary, wouldn't you?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
where like that's why David Tennant's back. So you know,
Yes.
I guess that will bring viewers back as well. Um,
Mhm.
if it's just people that watch David Tennant, that's fine. Come just watch David Tennant.
Yeah.
If it's just people who haven't watched Doctor Who since David Tennant, that's fine. But yeah, I've known a few people have said that to me, that they'll come back now to watch Doctor Who
Mhm.
again because he's back in it, and it's great to have
Mhm.
better, because the viewership. I did feel if Jodie continued, um or maybe the writer, that we may not have got Doctor Who. They might have needed a break. Um,
Yeah, I can see
for a
where you're
while.
coming from.
Um, for a while, which I think she thought that as well. Um, um, like she thought it's not as good as it was, and it maybe has time to leave. Um, because Chibnall was going with her all way along. So I don't. It's like
Yeah.
she. I think, but she enjoyed it. I think that's the best
Mhm.
thing. Like, she enjoyed it. Like, for every Doctor, they're going to get their bad views and good views. Like, look, like you could say, like, probably people say Matt is too funny. He shouldn't be that funny as he should be, or stuff like that, from maybe the Matt Smith Doctor. And then you've got other Doctor Who's
Yes.
like, whatever Doctor you get, even a companion, people are going to say I don't
Yeah.
like them already. So
Yeah.
that's what people got to get.
I don't think there are any companions I necessarily dislike. I think there are some that are kind of meh to me, but for the most part, I think I like a lot of the companions so far. And I gotta say that Clara is definitely my favorite, although maybe I'm a little bit biased just because I think that Jenna Coleman's kind of cute.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I did like. I liked when she was in the Dalek Asylum.
Yeah.
I did like that when she was being the souffle girl. That was really cool.
Oh yeah, someday I plan on cosplaying the version of her named Oswin. Someday I want to go to a Comic-Con wearing that red dress with that belt with all the cool gadgets on it, and I want to meet Matt Smith and say, "Tell me I'm cool, chin boy."
Have you ever been to a Comic Con?
Not yet, but big emphasis on yet because I've been dying to go to one for quite a while, and I also have nerds for family members, so I'm sure that they'd be more than happy to take me next time one
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. Because I really want to go to one, because I've never been. I see lots of these, like, people who cosplay as well, and people
Yes.
that like I want to go too. Like,
Yes, yes.
I want to go to one. Like, there was one quite recently. I saw David Tennant, and I was going to go, but it was too soon to, like,
Ah, that makes sense.
it was. I didn't. I was like, Yeah, but I didn't go to this one, but I aim to hopefully go to one next year because I do really want to see
Yeah.
David Tennant.
And I really want to meet David Tennant, Matt Smith, or Peter Capaldi because I really love all of them. And
Yeah.
part of me is like if I did meet Peter Capaldi, part of me would be tempted to ask, "Are you okay with the hugging in real life?" Maybe
That'd be
like when you go
interesting.
up, yeah. Maybe when you get a picture taken, like you go up to take a picture with the guy, just maybe recreate that scene where like Clara just gives him this big hug and he's like, I feel like that would be.
You know what I would do
What would you do?
when I see David Tennant? Do you remember that Children Need episode where like where the Fifth Doctor was there?
His father-in-law.
Yeah. What I would say, I'll get someone to record me saying to David Tennant, you know what, Doctor, I loved being you, because that's what he said to
Aw.
Fifth Doctor. You remember?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
That would be wholesome. That would be really
Yeah.
wholesome.
I would say, do you know what, Doctor? I love being you. And just what he said in that scene.
Yeah.
And I would imagine he would probably know what I'm talking about as well.
Oh, of course, of course.
And yeah, I would say that, and like I would say that, and potentially ask everyone to come on my podcast. I would say that because like the two main things I would do, or maybe just say Alon Z saying goodbye because you don't have a lot of time, do you? So
Yes.
like you have a little chat while he's signing your thing, and then of course you can
Yes.
have your picture with him as well.
Yeah.
And I think there's options if there's other doctors that you could have a picture with him and another incarnation of the Doctor. But yeah, that's what I would say.
It would it would be fun to also meet one of the classic doctors, with my favorite in particular, who's still around, being Sylvester McCoy as Seven. And if there's any classic companion I'd want to meet, it would be Joe. It would be Katie Manning, Joe Grant, just because she's such a sweet person. And
Mm.
my favorite thing about her personally was how loyal she was to the Doctor, how she just stuck with him through everything, and she took so many big risks on the adventures she had with him, and she cared for other people the whole time. Just she's kind, she has a big heart, and she's really loyal. Those are the things about her that really stick out to me.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. I I would meet is Rose Tyler.
Oh yeah.
She's up there. Who I'd like to meet. I'd
Yeah.
like to meet him. Not her.
Yeah.
Sorry, not him.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. There'll be. Oh, actually, Sasha Dewan as well. I'd like to meet him as well.
Oh yeah, then the latest incarnation of
Yeah.
the Master.
Yeah. I would love to meet him. He's one of my favorite incarnations of the Master. Um. Yeah. So there'll be the main people, and anyone else, I guess, it's a bonus.
Mhm.
And I do want to start doing things because last few years has been pretty hard with what's happening in the world and that, and
Yep.
and
I don't
still
blame you.
happening.
Yeah.
So I've only just found out recently about Comic Cons, what they are and stuff. So
Yeah.
like I'm pretty new to ever since 2020 and seeing lots of people do this kind of stuff. So yeah, David Tennant is the aim for next year, hopefully. I think.
David Tennant seems like such a sweet, like amazing cinnamon roll of a human, if you know what I mean. It seems like he's really kind to his fans and really down to earth. And it seems like he's always willing to try something new. And I've noticed too that he has a lot of funny stories to tell just as well.
Mm. Yeah, it's really really good. I think.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to talk a little bit about like your art?
Yeah.
Olivia.
So I've been drawing pretty much as long as I can remember being able to hold like a pencil or a crayon or something. But it was when I was a teenager that I really started falling in love with drawing. I got a big set of colored pencils from my great grandma and I started drawing with them. They were like those fancy Prismacolor colored pencils too. I had a case of like 70 something of them. And I just draw out all these scenes with them and had a lot of fun doing it. And eventually I wanted to become an animator. So that was a big dream of mine for a long time. I'd create these cartoons and stuff. And that eventually changed to comic artist because I started reading graphic novels and various comics, and I loved the art and the storylines in there. So I thought it would be fun to bring a story to life in that way. And then I got bullied for my art for a little while. So that caused me to stop drawing and sort of lose my creative spark, so to speak. But after I got to meet somebody who was a big hero to me, he was both my musical and my artistic hero. His kindness and his wisdom, they inspired me to draw again. So ever since then, I have been drawing and drawing and drawing because it makes me happy. And I've met so many other people who enjoy my art too. Nowadays, I mostly use markers. I'd show you my marker collection, but it's really big and I don't want it to collapse out of the case.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, like so like of course like so when you draw, do you like you do that bit. So what happens when like what do you do once you've drawn and colored in? What happens after that?
After that, usually I'll sign the picture, take a photo of it, and share it on my Instagram, usually with my friends and also other people who are fans of the same thing that I happen to draw. Although lately I've been working on a system to take commissions, and I'm hoping to set that up and to be able to sell my art and do paid drawings as well. So I'm pretty excited about that. I honestly never thought I'd reach a point like this where I'd have, a community of such kind people who enjoy my art the way they do. But now that I have that experience, I am very grateful for it.
Yeah, it's really good because
Yeah.
like you do really good with, like I like your like the one you showed me before, like that
This one?
yeah, that one is a really good one. Like
Thank you so much.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and like you said you're going to share it for Doctor Who Day as well.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Absolutely.
Yeah, very good.
I
And
was
in that speech bubble, does that say what he said in the episode?
I know these teeth. Yeah, I just had to include that. It would be wrong if I didn't put that in there. It would just be too much. It was too much fun to include that little line, and I love how David Tennant and Russell T Davies improvised.
Yeah, he does know his teeth. It's very cool. It's very cool. Like yeah, lovely to get the TARDIS in there as well.
I have So for those who can't see my art like you do, I have a little niche sort of drawing style. Specifically, I draw cats and people as cats, and I choose different breeds of cats and color patterns to use for different people based on their personalities, their appearances, all that stuff. And because David Tennant is a Scottish actor, I decided to make him a Scottish fold.
Okay.
So that's why his ears are kind of folded downwards, because that's a characteristic of the breed.
And why did you choose cats, like out of all animals?
Cats are a special interest of mine. They have been for almost 5 years. My family adopted our first cat ever when I was 18 years old, so that was back in 2018 or so. And I wanted to learn more about our new pet. So I started reading general cat facts. And the next thing you know, I was staring at my screen for like 2 hours, scrolling page after page of information about breeds and colors. And cats, they've been a special interest of mine since. And I really love them. I love how sweet they are, how they're such amazing companions to us humans. And I feel like they're a lot more intelligent than we give them credit for.
Yeah, they are very intelligent, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd show Kiwi, but I have my door closed because if I let her in, she'd probably try to jump on my keyboard and
Well, that's fine.
yeah.
It's fine. You showed her briefly on your drawing a little bit, didn't you? So it's fine.
Yeah, she likes to sit on my sketchbooks while I'm drawing and just stare at me until I pet her. And I'll pet her. I mean, of course I'll pet her. She's really soft. She's really lovey-dovey. She's my emotional support animal for a reason. But sometimes I just also look at her like, girl, get off. Don't disturb my creative process.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But yeah, like it's really good. It I love all your artwork that you show me and the ones you do. So it's good
Thank you.
that you still do it, even though that you said that yours like people were mean to you because
Mhm.
that they of your drawings. And you're still continuing, so you're proving
Yeah.
them wrong.
I'm glad that I was able to push past the trouble that all those bullies gave me. I'm glad that I was able to push away from all the hate that they showed and embrace my creativity again. And I'm just as grateful for the amazing community of people that I've met. And I've learned that those who are supportive and kind are always those that matter the most. And I shouldn't let haters like that get me down.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Like I was bullied when I was in school, and yeah, I've
Yeah.
and it's hard when you get bullied because
Yeah.
it's hard to talk about, and if you do,
Yeah.
sometimes it makes it worse. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
doesn't it? And people think you're lying, and
Mm.
like if you say to teachers that they don't really do anything and they don't really solve
Yeah.
it, and if they did get told off, it just comes back worse, and the bullies kind of lie and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really hard, but it's good. Like, well, we've proven them wrong. Like doing a podcast today on
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we just keep doing what we're doing.
Of
Um,
course.
talking about Doctor Who, of course. Um,
Yeah.
like autism, and keep doing your art because you do really good.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And here's my drawing of Seven.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, it's kind of hard to see his facial features just because he has a dark coat and I did the outlining in dark marker. But this was particularly fun to draw because of his sweater and just all the really bright colors on it. I really have a thing for bright colors. They're like one of those happy sensory things for me, if you know what I mean. So getting to draw his sweater, it was hard, but it was a ton of fun. Just looking at all the bright colors on it makes me feel happy.
Yeah, yeah. I do like his sweater. It's pretty cool. Um,
Thank you.
that he's wearing his sweater. Um,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, like in Doctor, speaking of cats, they do have a lot of quite good cats episodes when the cats are in there, don't they?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're talking to a cat. A lot of people talk to cats.
yeah, yeah.
Specific if
Like,
specifically, I think that cat might have been a rag doll. Sorry, just my little opportunity to be a nerd.
like you had the ones with like Rose, and then you had ones with Martha. So that,
Yes.
that, that they were really good, and I also like the dog.
Mm.
In I think his name is Carvanista in Doctor Who, which is I like him too. But I
Mm.
like when animals are in it because it's nice. Like the Doctor could even
Yeah.
have a pet animal for themselves.
It would be fun watching him have some sort of pet on the TARDIS. Like just watch a cat, like as he's like flipping switches and running around the console, just watch a cat start rubbing up against his legs, or have a dog like bark and sit and like give puppy eyes because it wants treats.
Yeah, I'd love that. It would be nice, and then the cat talks in the end,
Yeah.
or something like that. Um,
Yeah. He's like, what? I speak cat.
yeah, he speaks baby as well, doesn't Doctor, doesn't he? She.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's always entertaining hearing him hearing him tell stuff to babies because he can understand them. You should probably call her mummy and not big milk thing.
yeah, I find that funny. I think it was on that scene
Yeah.
where Amy was pregnant, and then he says, Doctor says, "I speak baby," and then it's funny what Amy says. He says, "No, you don't." Uh, and then she's shocked to see what happens afterwards. Um, uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
A
Uh,
Good Man Goes to War is one of the hardest episodes to watch, at least for me. That and also the first two episodes of season 6 with the names that I'm forgetting off the top of my head, when the doctor gets shot, like you know that he's not actually going to die, you know he's going to go on and live and regenerate, but the fact that you have to watch that happen, it puts a ton of fear into you. Like it's terrifying, it's really sad.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. Um, what's what are the saddest episodes for me?
Hmm.
Probably the end of time part two.
Oh, definitely. That
Um,
one,
yeah.
real tearjerker.
When the angels take Manhattan. That's sad.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got teary-eyed during that one.
Yeah. What else was sad? Oh yeah, the face of Raven was pretty sad.
That one made me like full-blown cry. Like I was like sniffling into my shirt because of how sad that was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What else was sad? Um, oh yeah, the guy on the fireplace was pretty sad.
Yeah, that one
Um,
was a hard one to watch too, but it has some beautiful scenery. And I
yeah,
mean, you've been there
yeah,
firsthand and reenacted the
yeah.
scene, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's my favorite episode. That is the guy on the
Yeah.
fireplace.
Yeah.
Um, like it probably beats the 50th. It shouldn't, but it's up there with the 50th. I'd say.
I'm trying to remember my favorites of the David Tennant era. I know that I can't remember the name of it, but I liked the episode where they had to infiltrate the school and face those creatures called the
Oh
Krillitanes.
yeah, school reunion episode.
Yes, yes, and also with the appearance of Sarah Jane and K9, that was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's good.
I didn't know Classic Who yet at the time, so I was a little confused, but I knew, but it was still fun to watch. It was still cool to see that he was making a callback to the show that he got to watch during his childhood.
Yeah, yeah. It was good to see Sarah Jane in there. I watched Doctor Who when I was like when it aired, so I would have been about 5. Um,
Ah,
so I yeah, it's really good. Like having people like that. That was a very good episode.
yeah.
Doomsday was actually pretty sad. Um,
Yeah.
um, Journey's End maybe as well.
Hmm.
Of Companions Leave. Like, there's very sad episodes. Um, there is.
Yeah, I really liked all the classic references in School Reunion. And I also love the way that Rose and Sarah Jane, when they met each other, they were kind of jealous and grouchy at first, kind of like, new girlfriend meeting ex-girlfriend. But then as time went by, they started talking about him and they were just laughing and giggling like two schoolgirl best friends and poking fun at him.
I love that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch. Just watching them like be kind of leery of each other at first and then turning into friends and making fun of the doctor while he can hear it.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, and then of course for 11, River. I hate River and the doctor. I hate you. No, you don't.
Yeah, it's true because she don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
River, she's a fun character too. I really like her. She's a badass.
yeah, because I think Shooty is actually the same age that Matt was when he was the Doctor. Um,
I think Matt was
uh,
26. I think
like
Shooty
similar
is.
age, like kind of similar, like kind of age that way.
Yeah, I
I
think
think.
that Shooty is 30 years old. So yeah, he's gonna be a young doctor as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be similar, so like
Yes.
pretty similar. But of course now Matt is like I think he's late 30s, I think. Which is crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty
uh,
crazy how quickly
like,
it goes by.
like David turns 51 now, I think. Which is
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, like it's pretty crazy. Like and like yeah, but look forward to see how it all turns out next year.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about next year as well because it seems like we're just getting one good news story after another when it comes to the updates for what's to come. Like first we hear that David Tennant and Catherine Tate are coming back as the Doctor and Donna. Then we hear about Ncuti Gatwa being the next Doctor and also the first Black gay man to be the Doctor. Then we hear that Russell T Davies is coming back, and then we see Neil Patrick Harris as a villain that looks like the Celestial Toymaker, so a callback to the classic era. And then we have like this whole thing with the way that he regenerated. It just seems like one exciting thing comes after another. Like
But
I have a feeling it's going to be a great year next year for the show.
yeah, Yeah, and hopefully a Christmas special return.
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of sad we didn't get a Christmas special this year.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It is pretty sad, but
yeah,
yeah, maybe the announcement may be another announcement when that is all going to be taking place. But I think it's all going to be November next year. But
yeah.
I hope because they named a new Ruby Sunday, and I hope the Sunday means that we don't get episodes Doctor Who on Sunday because I much prefer them on the Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday is definitely more convenient, and it's sort of the day of the weekend where you actually get to relax before you have to go back to school. And as somebody who's starting my grad school pretty soon, I'm that would work pretty well too. Hopefully they'd air them on Saturdays instead.
Yeah, yeah, like it might be like with autism and like routine and stuff, like because they change everything. Like as soon as Peter
Yeah,
Capaldi left, we was used to having it on a Saturday, we was used to having a Christmas special, and then they change
yes.
everything.
Yeah, it was a little chaotic in that respect.
Yeah,
And I mean, we are people who like routine, so it's understandable how that could be difficult. Honestly, part of my routine ever since my boyfriend first introduced me to the show is to watch an episode of New Who pretty much every day, and we always make popcorn and sit together and munch on it while we watch the show. But there are some days where he doesn't feel like watching or something comes up, and that's just kind of a jarring stop to the routine. Like, no.
yeah, I completely agree. Like,
Yeah.
fingers crossed that's all gonna return because it should be on Christmas Day, not New Year's Day. Because
Yeah.
New Year's Day pretty doom and gloom. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a very exciting time.
No.
We all say liaise and Happy New Year, but it's not a time where it's not really a celebration as such. It is in a way, but not as such for Doctor Who. Um,
Yeah, that makes sense.
like Christmas, like I usually love to watch it. It's one thing I look forward to on Christmas Day. I watch Doctor Who
Hmm.
in the evening, and I always liked that it wasn't it was a different time like each year. Although I do like
Hmm.
the it's really interesting. Like some of the like you would have it at not a normal time because of other
Yeah.
programs. And I used to like that because it's different. Although I like a
Yeah.
schedule each year, I do like those kind of things. And I remember I
Yeah.
think when Peter Capaldi or possibly Matt, they did have some Doctor Two
Mhm.
episodes coming on like 9:15 at night sometimes, which was really interesting. I in the UK, of course.
I honestly don't know which Christmas episode is funnier, at least when it comes to 12. I can't decide between The Husbands of River Song and The Return of Dr. Mysterio, because both of those are pretty darn funny. And I especially loved the very blatant references to Superman and the DC comics and stuff like that in The Return of Dr. Mysterio.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. I think yeah, like the Christmas specials, like he had oh, so he had them too. Uh,
Uh-huh.
I, I'm not sure what ones he had. Other ones he had. Like of course he had this one he left with. Because I think he was originally going to leave in the Doctor Falls, but he didn't because they wanted to do a Christmas special, which I think is fine. But like Jodie
Yeah.
left was not a Christmas special, which I think was good because everyone leaves that Christmas special. Um,
Yeah.
like it's boring. Like then
Yeah.
today, Christmas is a fun time, not a person for someone to regenerate.
Yeah, it's supposed to be happy. We're not supposed to cry on Christmas because our favorite doctor's going away. Although in the universe of the show, Christmas seems to have a history of being the best time for alien invasions, so I can understand if it's not happy for them.
Yeah, one of my favorite Christmas episodes was the Christmas invasion. Actually, like
Yeah,
episodes. Yeah, that
his
is the
first full appearance.
yeah, I like that one, and I like especially the references still to this day, like when he said like do you miss me and stuff like that. So it's that even that reference is talked about still now. So I love that.
If anybody ever mentions the Christmas invasion, at least around me, the thing that I first think of is, who are you? I don't know.
Yeah, I love that too. It's and then of course now in the trailer that we last saw, he says, "I don't know who I am anymore." Don't he?
Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
yeah.
Um, yeah. with like before we go, Olivia, because we've been
Yeah.
speaking for ages, haven't we?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have been talking for a
yeah,
while, but time
yeah.
flies when you have fun.
Yeah, it does. It does definitely. The last
Mhm.
two things. Yeah, firstly, if you can maybe, if you have anything like advice about autism, maybe you want to give to other people, maybe in your own experience.
Honestly, I think that my biggest piece of advice would be know that you're different and that you're perfect the way you are. Know that you have these amazing skills and strengths that the neurotypical population doesn't have. Know that you have these superpowers that other people don't, and embrace that part of yourself. And don't let bullies get you down the way that I let them get me down when I was younger. Like, just keep doing you, keep chasing your passions, keep loving your special interests, keep being passionate about about anything you want to learn about. Just never stop being you, and never let anybody convince you to change who you are.
Definitely. I can't agree more with that. Yeah, like we're all different and we should embrace it, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And lastly, Olivia, do you have a quote in Doctor Who that you relate to?
Oh dear, that is a
Um,
hard one. There are so many that I really
or
like.
or is it the one that you said earlier about like like with the planet one that you said earlier? Um, it
You
was yeah
you when I said you've swallowed a
yeah
planet.
yeah. What about that one? Do you like that one?
That one just makes me laugh. I don't, it's just funny. It's just something that I'll sometimes when I have like when my echolalia goes off, I'll just repeat that one to myself over and over again.
Yeah.
There are a couple other ones that I end up repeating to myself as well, like in the episode The Bells of St. John, when Clara first becomes his companion, and it's like, I'll send out a spoonhead. Alexi, we call them servers, not spoonheads.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
always makes me giggle. And if it was like a more sort of wise quote, I guess it might be a little cliche, but I really do like we're all stories in the end. Just make it a good one.
Yeah, I love that one too. Like
Yeah,
it's true. We are. We're all stories. We'll be stories in the end.
of course.
Yeah, we got to make a good one.
Hmm.
um, but yeah, it's been great speaking to you, Olivia, because I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Right back at you, man.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun info dumping with you, and it makes me happy that you enjoy my art so much. It really means the world.
yeah, it's very good. I love when you show me your art because it's really good.
Thank
And
you
yeah,
so much.
and yeah, you'll have to come on again, like
Oh,
like
absolutely.
and we can talk more and like there'll be Doctor Who Autism series again in the future where like for the 60th anniversary next year as well. So you might want to get involved in that if you want. Um,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that would be
yeah,
amazing. We could just talk nonstop about the new special.
definitely, and yeah, and it will be released within the specials as well, the actual Doctor Who special, and on this podcast it will be like Doctor Who Autism 60th anniversary specials, where
Yes.
a new logo will get made for the for it as well. It will change a little bit from the Autism Doctor Who series earlier this year, but yeah, it's really cool, I think. But yeah, I love your art and keep up with it because it's really good.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, and to anyone watching or listening, we hope you've enjoyed today, like on Doctor Who Day, of course. Because we've talked about loads of topics. We've talked about our autism journeys, being autistic, Doctor Who, like what we like about it and how it relates to autism as well, and also art because it's a beauty of art, really, Doctor Who, isn't it, Olivia? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but well, thank you again, Olivia. I'm glad you've enjoyed your first podcast.
Of course, it was a pleasure being on here.